Most businesses will not make it past their 10-year anniversary. In fact, only 5% will. So the fact is 95% of businesses won't make it. In this video, I want to go over the 10 reasons why I think that happens and how you can become the top 5%. Let's do it. The harsh reality is probably you're not good enough. Look, the facts are if only 5% make it to their 10-year anniversary, most fail, you're probably not good enough as an entrepreneur. Now that can change, but actually most people don't seek how to become. They want convenience. Well, actually you've got to revel in the difficulties. And I've learned through some of the failures in my career, I've done a lot of things. I own hotels, day nurseries, zoos, visitor attractions, coffee shops. I manufacture ice cream. I've manufactured products. I've imported millions of pounds of products from around the world. I've employed tens of thousands of people. So I've had a lot of experience. And some things have gone like gangbusters and some things haven't gone well. Well, here's a lot of things that people do is they hold on to stuff for too long in the hope that it's going to improve. But maybe the model isn't good enough. Maybe the business isn't good enough. Maybe the business is not a successful business. And you've just got something that you're interested in, but the marketplace isn't. And so over the next 9 points, I want to understand what they are. So the first one is maybe you're not good enough. What have you got to become? What are you got to do to have the things that you want to have in life? Maybe you want to have more money. Maybe you want to have more time, more freedom. But if you don't actually identify what you want to have, what your business looks like when it's finished with a clear plan of attack, then I don't think you're going to be successful. You've got to work on that stuff first. So first of all, you've got to become the best version of you, because the better you are, the better the business is. Number 2 really brings me on to that point in more detail, which is you're building a useless model. I've discovered through all of my business escapades that some business models are just set up for profitability way more than others. You open a restaurant, that's a difficult business model, really hard to make money from. But you go and do some commercial property and rent that out. It's a far more predictable business model that has got way more data that shows that it's going to be more successful. And so you want to find good models, and the data's out there. Use this thing called Google. It's got plenty of research, and you can find out what are the most profitable business models. In fact, I've made some videos here on this YouTube channel. I'll put some links in the video description and maybe above my head, where you can go and find out what are the best business models. It really does start with the business model after you've worked on yourself. So you become a brilliant business owner. Maybe you learn accountancy. Maybe you learn how to really understand numbers, and then you choose the right opportunities, and the right opportunities are the best possible business model. Now, if you've got a business model right now that's doing okay, but it's not going like gangbusters, not generating serious profits, maybe you can tweak the business model. And that's something that I've learned in my career. Hey, let me give you an example. I opened a leisure business. So a zoo, an indoor play centre, a family entertainment centre, a bowling alley, and you're looking at it and going, well, this is generating some cash. It's making a profit. It's making an EBITDA, which is earnings before interest, tax, depreciation, amortisation. It's servicing the loans. It's quite a good business. But we don't want a good business. What's the difference between good and great? Well, it's actually tweaking the business model. So how can you get multiple revenue streams and sweat the assets so that business becomes really profitable? So what I did was I go, right, I've got a leisure business. I'm going to build a childcare business on my leisure business, thus giving me loads more predictable revenue streams, because childcare is very predictable, but I'm already paying the rent. I'm already paying the rates, and I've got a big load of customers that are coming to me that I can market to come to my childcare business. And sweating the assets is what good entrepreneurs and business owners do. You start doing that stuff, improving the models, tweaking the models, looking for a better answer to get better results, you're going to get in the top 5% gang. Number 3, big one here, gang. Customer concentration. Now, I've done lots of podcasts, nearly 400 episodes of my podcast where I've interviewed and helped business owners try and grow their business. If you're interested in the podcast, there's a second YouTube channel, put a link in the video description for that as well. Customer concentration is one of the biggest things that cause businesses to go bust. Now, what is customer concentration? Well, it's one big customer that drives in a horrific amount of revenue into the business. And I have a rule that no more than 10% of your revenue should come from any one customer. I can't tell you, especially in construction, in FM companies, that's facility management companies, in supplying companies, you've got this one big customer that gives you most of your profit, most of your revenue, and you all build your business around them. And then they go, actually, we're going bust, or we don't want to buy from you anymore. And no matter how much you think your relationship is good with them, nothing is forever. And so if you've got one big customer, your job is to dilute them as fast as possible so they don't become more than 10% of your revenue. Really, really important. I see more businesses go bust from that one than anything else. Number 4, cash flow. Cash flow. Cash flow is the biggest killer of businesses. I've like that podcast and I've helped one-to-one, I've done consultancy, and in my businesses, managing cash flow is the biggest stress. There's some things that you can do. Make sure you haven't got customer concentration, make sure that you don't have all your customers on credit, make sure you create an ecosystem where you're getting a little bit of money even every single day, so you've got regular cash flow. If you're waiting for big contracts to be paid, then that can be disastrous. I know lots of businesses that can make 2, 3, 4, 5 million pounds worth of profit, but they're not getting paid, they haven't got their bills being paid, they're getting extended payment terms all the time, and that's it, the business goes bust. And so you've got to find ways of improving cash flow. If you're borrowing money and you think you're going to need funding in 6 months' time, go to the bank 6 months ahead of time, get all your ducks in a row, then you've got a far better chance of getting the money. What banks hate doing is lending to businesses when they're having cash flow pinches. They love lending to businesses that say, in 6 months, we're going to have a cash flow pinch because of X, Y, and Z. We would like you to support us now. We're telling you 6 months ahead of the time. So one of the best ways that you can remove cash flow problems in your business is employ an accountant as soon as you can. Get that person in-house that knows your numbers inside and out. Banks will absolutely love it. It'd be much easier to borrow money and thus removing lots of the cash flow problems. And they'll be helpful to you. You know, as the mafia have a consigliere, you will have a consigliere within your organisation to help you that really understand the numbers. And don't forget that little phrase, a little bit of money from a lot of people a lot of the time. Now, I've got well over 1 million individual customers that come through my doors each and every single year to all my businesses. So every single day we have some cash flow hit the bank. Now, also in another one of my businesses, I've got a customer right now that owes me £750,000. Now, that's not extended payment terms. They've just bought a lot from me. If that was my only business, I'd literally be not sleeping. Now, I can weather that storm because I've got those million of little customers giving me cash each and every single day. So create an ecosystem that allows you to have regular cash flow. And lots of business owners just rely on those one big ticket sales to keep them going, those one big customer. So create an ecosystem of regular cash flow and you'll sleep at night a lot better. Number 5 is no knowledge of funding. It is horrific how many entrepreneurs and business owners come to me and go, James, help me, I need to raise some funding. And I actually think about raising money from private equity or venture capitalists or angel investors more than going to the many, many resources for business owners to be able to borrow cash into their business. And this is another reason why I say employing an accountant in-house in your business as fast as possible is one of the ways that you're going to be able to palm that off to them to go and do all the funding and raise cash for you. There's peer-to-peer lending, there's alternative lending, there's private investor lending, there's bank lending, there's more banks than ever before, there's lease finance. We've got access to loads of those people and we borrow from lots of different banks, lots of different avenues. You've got to knowledge up on this. You've got to knowledge up on this. You've got to become really good at being a person that can raise capital. If you haven't got that knowledge of funding, then I think it's going to be very difficult for you to weather some storms and get through some of those challenges. And there will always be challenges. Look, guys, I've got a business, we're doing tens of millions of revenue each and every single year, 1,200 staff, things go really well, but every now and then we have some tight points, some problems, and then I have to go and fix it. And because of my knowledge of funding, I can go and get it. Or maybe an opportunity comes up that I can go and seize really quickly and I don't want to use all my own cash. I know how to raise the funding. And I've put a lot of time into reading the books, meeting people, networking with people to be able to be someone that can raise capital and cash very quickly and even medium to long term. And what I think a lot of people do is just go to their regular advisors for this stuff. Very similar to actually accountants and solicitors. Let's put this in the same bracket. If you're getting the same set of results with your accountant and your solicitor, and they're your most trusted advisors. Have you ever thought about knocking on the door of another accountant just to see if they've got a better point of view? Do you not think that is what the top 5% of individuals are doing? Yes, they've got multiple accountants they talk to, multiple solicitors, multiple banks, multiple investors to get things over the line. That puts them in the top 5%. Number 6 is innovate or evaporate. Because the marketplace is always innovating. And here's the thing, when people have got a good business and things are going very well, they start to rest on their laurels. Well, no, Captain. That's when you must start innovating even more. Let's look at Steve Jobs, arguably one of the last 50 years' best innovators. You know, he took Apple to heights that most entrepreneurs can't even begin to imagine because he was an innovator. He kept on making brilliant products. Now, before him, Sony were the technology innovators. They were just brilliant, but then they got lazy. They rested on their laurels and Apple overtook them. You want to make sure that doesn't happen in your business. Now, I'm not saying that Sony is not still an amazing, profitable company. Of course it is, but Apple outdid them. So you want to make sure that you're constantly innovating, even when things are good, because that marketplace is always trying to innovate and they're always going to out-innovate you. So make sure you stay at the top of your game. You know, if you carried on making fax machines, you'd be bust. That's the point I'm trying to hammer home. You must innovate all the time. Number 7, this is something that I don't think you'll hear on many YouTube videos when we're talking around these subjects, and that's direct response marketing. If you want to be successful in business, you've got to be a marketeer of your thing over an operator of your thing. I come across many entrepreneurs and business owners, and the ones that are the most super successful are the ones that know how to get customers, create cash flow. They spend more time bringing in cash flow into their business. And that's my big message. But it's not just understanding the marketing that Coca-Cola would do, it's direct response marketing, the power of good copy, headlines, getting people to call to action, understanding how you're going to get people's attention, keep their interest, know how to get them to make a decision to buy from you and then to action on those decisions straight away. So you've got to learn how to be a direct response marketer. I wrote a book called Getting Customers. I suggest you go and get a copy of that. I've made loads of videos here on the YouTube channel about how to do really good marketing that works. To do it frugally, by the way, to do it frugally so that you can do it with as little money as possible. Look, my view is if you're doing marketing for especially a location, small business, you should be building a business and doing your marketing like you're running for local government. The stuff they do leaflets through the door, they pick up the phone, they network, they write articles in newspapers, they do content marketing, they beg people for their votes. And that's what you need to do in those early days. Get customers, become a direct response marketeer. Go and check out the videos I made on the channel about that. Number 8, focusing on operating your business over marketing your business. Now, most business owners that I come across spend 80% of their time in their business, operating their business. They're doing the VAT returns, they're doing payroll, they're opening their business up, closing their business up, they're doing all the HR, all the time vampire tasks. Get rid of it as fast as you possibly can so that you're in a position where you're spending 80% of your time growing your business, bringing in customers, signing up contracts, a revenue generator. You're the salesman of the business. You're the salesperson that is making everything happen. You're out there seeking opportunities. And if you're stuck in the operations role, how are you going to be doing that? And you're the best person to do it. You've got to be the mover shaker. You've got to be doing the impossible tasks, not the possible tasks. And I think a lot of business owners like doing the day-to-day stuff because they feel like they've achieved some stuff. They feel that they can say, oh, I've been so busy today doing the VAT return and dealing with the staff and getting all those deliveries out. You won't catch me doing any of that stuff because it's counterproductive for the people that I employ. I need to go out there and be the revenue generator of the business, doing the impossible tasks, not the possible tasks. Employ people to do all the possible stuff, the technician roles, so that you're out there creating future opportunities for your team and yourself, and you'll be in the top 5%, my friends. Number 9 is changing the outset of your environment so that you're pulling for opportunities, not pushing for opportunities. Yeah, this is the big thing, right? It's the big secret that I've discovered about high-level, high-performance people. They pull everything towards them. They're like a magnet, a bringing in all these opportunities into their ecosystem, into their life. Most people are pushing for those opportunities. Well, how does that happen? Well, you've got to build a personal brand. You've got to be someone that someone wants to deal with. Have you ever heard the phrase, if you want something done, ask a busy person? Well, that's because that person's effective. Subconsciously, that you know that busy person can get stuff done. So they're just pulling more opportunities towards them. You think, oh, I'm a leader of a country and I want to get some satellites into space. Hang on a sec. Oh, hello, Elon Musk. Can you help me here? Whilst you're also building Twitter or X, whatever he's called, whilst you're also doing Tesla, while you're also doing Starlink and SpaceX, he's a busy person that will have so many opportunities every single day that he can be picky and choosy. He pulls rather than pushes. And that really is a mindset thing. It's a habit that gets you into that position. How can you do that? Write a book, be a thought leader, get on YouTube, go on podcasts, win awards for your business, get good customers, because that's a signal that people can trust your business because you're servicing other good customers. Oh my God, this is a big thing that I've discovered in my life. You get one big brand leader, all the other brand leaders want to deal with you because they trust that you're dealing with that person. So you're going to get into the mindset and the philosophy that we're going to pull opportunities towards us rather than push for opportunities. Number 10 is be frugal on costs so you can be generous on investment. You want to have an element of frugality around you on the day-to-day running of a business. Businesses, as they generate revenue, as they become more profitable, they absorb fat. And your job is to be a colour of the fat in your business. You want to be a lean, mean operating machine. Frugality must be a culture in your business. Make sure that you're driving the price down. You want to make sure that you're not overspending on labour, that you're not overspending on costs, but not to the detriment that it causes you a problem with investment. So we want to be so frugal on costs so we generate massive cash flow savings in our frugality on costs so that we can go and invest that money. Because what do all wealthy people do? What do all successful people do? They invest. They invest in themselves, they invest in books, they invest in capital infrastructure, they invest in investments, they have an investment mindset. But you want to be frugal on the day-to-day runnings. So yeah, go and buy that commercial property that you operate out of. Go and buy that next business. Grow by acquisition, no, just grow by organic. And the way you do that, so you can be frugal on your day-to-day costs, so you can be generous on the big costs on investments. The 11th thing, which is my last point, is all successful people subscribe to the James Sinclair YouTube channel. So make sure you subscribe to the channel. I'm jesting a little bit there. I do want you to subscribe to my channel and read and watch all my stuff. But actually, that's something else that successful people do, is they sharpen their saw. If you read the book, 7 Habits of Highly Effective People, you know chapter 7 is sharpen your saw. It means work on yourself. Become the person that can deal with stuff. You've got to go to the seminars. You've got to read the books. Great leaders are great readers. There's a little phrase that I used to love. Poor people have big TVs and rich people have big libraries. And it's not just rich in terms of wealth, but it's rich in terms of philosophy and outlook on life. You've got to sharpen your saw. You've got to become the best version of you. Reading, listening, watching to the right stuff, going to seminars can all really help. So subscribe to the channel and I'll see you in the next video to grow your business.